I want to speak to him the way I'm speaking to you right now.
He
I want to
talking to you,
speak to him
just
right
ain't
now.
listening.
Hmm.
He gonna smack you upside your head if he keep talking to you
Then
and you keep
I'm
ignoring
trying
him.
to listen. I'm
Yeah,
not trying
but
to
when
ignore
he
him. I'm
smack you
trying to. I'm
upside your
trying to
head, he
do.
gonna have your attention then, because he don't
He
have
gonna.
as long a patience as some of the other lords, and he want to smoke, so he don't care if you get mad at him.
No, I want to smoke myself. That's why you
Yeah,
picked me. Because this
right.
is the first time I was on Instagram, and that was one of my fears to conquer, is to get on Instagram. It's crazy. I'm the last one you picked. So right then and there, this is my opening. And then I'm talking to the great one. So listen, I want the smoke. I want all the fucking smoke. So
So
I just see the
look,
thing is I
look,
was looking for an elder to give me the right guidance, or because you got
you the fucking
motherfuckers out here.
elder. You the elder you've been looking
Ashe,
for.
Ashe, Ashe,
So now
Aibobo.
look, this is what you got to do now. Find out his favorite offering. Give it to yourself. Then he gonna talk to you real then. He gonna know you ready.
His favorite offering. My mind just told me a banana and candy. I'm telling you
Look,
what's processed already.
just whatever he tell you. When you
Okay.
follow the instructions, the more you listen to them, the more they will communicate with you.
That's why I
And the
wanted
clearer
to.
the communication to be. It ain't gonna be no fucking secret, because you fucking with the right one now, because he gonna smack you silly if you don't pay attention. You must be just like me, a hard-headed motherfucker that got to do
I
it your way.
am. I am.
Yeah, because
I
that's,
I am
yeah, all us with those warriors for Loas, we hard-headed.
with a
He
good
gonna
heart.
get your attention,
Mm.
but he got your attention. You already doing, now you just gotta fine-tune it, like the radio slightly off the channel. You just gotta get the sound to come in clear.
And then that's why I need my brothers and sisters to put me in the
He's
right
gonna tell you
guidance.
everything to do.
Mm.
Give him his offering, but give it to yourself. If it's a food offering,
Eat
whatever
it.
his favorite food is, make that shit
Mm. Mm.
for yourself.
See, this is where I had doubted, right? When it came out, I'll message you after we leave when I get home because I'm at work, and then I'll send you the my loas my siges. The thing is, when I first started getting into my culture, or should I say my nature, and what I realized, like when I was asking other people this kind of question that I was asking you, they kept like giving me the runaround, like giving me the two sides, like you said. I guess that's probably one of the things that made me doubtful too. Because when people have been in doing something longer than you, and you think that they should have the more knowledge than you, so they
But
giving
they
you, they
might not
say,
have a
oh,
connection in yours.
because they've
See,
been because
all of us who got Loas attached to us. My big mama baptized me with the Baron, right? And the
mm,
Baron is the Ogun.
mm,
So when for, we supposed to wake up to who they is, or they gonna wake us up to who they is. And when they wake
mm,
us up to who they is, they gonna smack the shit out of us. I got disappointed. Um, all of the social issues that we complain about are part of the fucking punishment for doing the dirt we did. Or the dirt we let them do, I should say, because we ain't the ones did it. The invaders did the dirt, and we stood by. We didn't do what a guardian is supposed to do. When you babysitting and you see the kids about to fuck some shit up, you supposed to stop them. We ain't stop them. Then y'all want to know why we had to pay for the shit. Well, we all didn't. Only one of us was willing to pay for it in full with his own motherfucking shit. One motherfucker. Cause mama say you can't just throw people away like trash. And that's exactly what Inky did. Following his brother's orders because he was outranked. They threw them people away in Europe. and Ea is rope. Ea is inky. Ea is inky. When they say they threw him away in Europe, they ain't lying. And that's why Ivan Van Sertima had to go and find African presidents early Europe. Because it wasn't no Europeans before 10,000 years ago. Wasn't none. When you see them talking about Cro-Magnons, Australopithecus, and Neanderthals, them was niggas. That's what they call us today. Them was niggas. Them was thugs. Them was us. Wasn't no pale-skinned European. So what did we do? What was the cleanup? What was the remedy? In order for everybody to be on the equal playing field, on the same level, first of all, them people needed to be able to rule an empire. They came from being perpetual servants. It's in your books. It ain't no secret. It's in all your books. Now you want to bitch, cry, moan, kick and scream about injustice and inequality when you created this shit. If you didn't create it, you stood by and let it happen. And mama said, well, baby, the sealer is as good as the stiller. That's right. That's right, Portia. You know the Thuggee was Queen Kylie's way of keeping the balance of wealth. With her Robin Hoods. With her Robin Hoods. They was robbing the hood. Anyway, so when we was expecting that they would clean that shit up and they had no plan for it, somebody had to clean that shit up. Somebody had to clean up the dirt they dropped over there. So when the queen gave the order, because she did give the order, it wouldn't have never happened. What they call your 200 fallen didn't fall. They came to clean up the shit. Clean up that genetic mess. They had to answer the grievance to the God that said we have no right to a sin and no right to eternal life. All we do is work, die, and that's the end of us. What about us? It's in there. Wisdom of Solomon. Look it up. Don't believe me. Go check that shit out. Stop letting these motherfuckers trick y'all. Y'all know what the hell going on in the world. So if they don't got a right to a sin. Now remember in Genesis, they didn't get kicked out for assimilating the knowledge, good and evil. They got kicked out to prevent the consumption of the tree of life. Well, where is this tree? How big is it? How tall is it? How deep do the roots go? Is it on the earth or is it in the astral? Is it on another planet? Is it on a ship? Is it a bonsai tree? Is it held in somebody's personal motherfucking garden? Where is this goddamn tree of life? It's in you. See, your chakras was blocked. As a European, they had 5 of 7 chakras blocked. They only had sacral chakra and second chakra, which is between the pelvic bone and the navel. And then once they was able to assimilate that knowledge, there was a barrier put in play. They put a parasite that can be passed on genetically in the DNA into the central nervous system, and it causes the Stephen Hawking effect. It causes what's that shit called? Huntington's Graves disease. It causes the brain to die at a rapid rate, but it only affects the left hemisphere, and it causes them to start having a palsy and the atrophy because there's too much information the brain can't fire. Now, if you want to know a little more about it, and you can understand it a little better, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing has a debate with a eugenicist from the 70s. And in that debate, she is describing the Huntington's Graves disease and its effect. And that this was a major issue with eugenics and the eugenics philosophy. Now, the eugenics philosophy is exactly the opposite of what they're telling you it is. So the eugenics philosophy is the cleaning up the genes so that the undesirables doesn't reproduce. So what do they mean by the undesirables? You got to read the eugenics manifestos, they reports and their writings. Those who have birth defects was considered as the undesirables, that they didn't want to procreate. And the only way that this is possible on Earth with the genes on Earth. Now you got to keep in mind, we on Earth, so we're going to deal with it from an Earth angle. When you look at all of the DNA on Earth, the only DNA is Dogon DNA or Zulu DNA or one of the what they call sister tribes, because of something known as the healing factor or the recovery factor in the blood. What this does is it allows it to capture a birth defect in utero, basically wrap it up and spit it out before it can manifest in the child. But in order to maintain the status quo, they have to artificially create birth defects. Why do they have to artificially create birth defects? In order for eugenics to effectuate the needed cleanup of the genetic defect, in order for it to work, it has to be a system in play where it's a misdirection. Or because just like no self-respecting African would date or sleep with Europeans before the cleanup started, Europeans didn't too much care about Africans either. It was a xenophobia, the fear of strangers, that is the reason the Europeans, they didn't trust nobody, because all they knew was deceit, treachery from people that don't look like them. So now when we talking about racism and political differences and divide and conquer, we got to trace this shit back to the source. If you look at it for what it is, there's nobody European that was smart enough to raise Plato and Socrates, to become a Plato and Socrates. They had to go to Africa. There was nobody in Europe capable enough to raise an Alexander as a leader, or a Napoleon. All these guys had to be taught by Africans. And it's not a secret. This is the kicker. It's not a secret. When you go find out the generals that Napoleon studied under, most of them was Africans. That was just only 200 years ago, 1800s. When you go and study who taught Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, Leonardo, Da Vinci, they all learned from Egyptian priests. So who the fuck gave them the power to take over and subjugate what was supposed to be superior people? Now y'all talk about y'all gods, the black gods, y'all ain't doing no god shit. Now, when I say y'all not doing no god shit, y'all doing the same thing you've been doing ever since you've been oppressed, expecting the oppression to change. Gods don't operate like that. Gods don't operate like that. Y'all been doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It ain't working. That's not God shit. If you say you God, right? If you say you God, explain to me what's the difference between a God and a man. All right? Now, I want you to explain to me the difference. Show me what a God do. Show me a God. Show me a man. Explain to me the difference in the two, as Dr. Fuller would say. You can't tell me, look in the mirror and know I'm God. I can do that shit all day long. It's not going to affect any change. What's going to cause the changes we need in order to change the condition of the people. It's not hard. You ain't got to do no God shit. You could do some smart man shit to figure this shit out. It ain't even hard. It ain't even hard. First, you got to know that ain't no white people behind this oppression. Nowhere on earth. Nowhere on earth. No matter how powerful they look to you, white people ain't running this shit. I'm flat out tell you. The white man ain't behind this. History say it's not possible. Science say it's not possible. So I'm going to have to roll with the history and science. Even the religions say it's not possible. White man ain't behind it. Because when it started, he wasn't even here. You didn't even think about that part, did you? When it started, wasn't no white folks. When the dirt started, wasn't no white people. So how we going to blame it all on the white man? When the dirt started, wasn't no white folks. Now, they've been deceiving us. Let me get to the final part of this, which is about the political prisoners. Because I think by now we ought to all know what happened to the gods that amalgamated with the humans and how do we locate them. Is one of us ain't like none of the rest of us. One of us is the baddest motherfucker ever born. One of us. One of us. And it ain't gonna be no secret too much longer. So I sit back and I listen to the grievances. And one of the grievances is about what we call the Grail Kings. Grail Kings being held without tribute, held without honor, and held without respect. And you want to know why. This is the grievance I'm getting. And the grievance concerns people like Jeff Ford, Imam Abu Jamal, Mumia Abu Jamal, Jeff Ford, Larry Hoover, Malachi York, Suge Knight, Big Meech. Anyway, so all the grievances is the same. Is the leaders that we pick get took out the picture, and that the Hellenized leaders they want us to have get promoted. So this is the grievance. This is the remedy. The resolution for the grievance is the class action lawsuit of anybody with a case stemming from a drug conviction. And this is why. According to 42 United States Code 1983, the color of state law, or the color of law actually, 19 United States Code 242 and 18 United States Code 242. These are actionable offenses that the government can commit against a citizen by creating a condition where the citizen commits a crime, but they're actually acting as a de facto agent of the state. Anybody with a drug case in America need to be part of the class action. Anybody with a murder, robbery, home invasion, or anything stemming from a drug case need to be party to the class action. And this is why. When the government is the key organizer and conspirator in an ongoing criminal enterprise, and one of the citizens, don't matter the level, and one of the citizens are baited by the government to participate in the wrongdoing that the government is committing, then the person that the government is using to further its criminal act becomes qualified immune to the prosecution stemming from the act of government. Now, I gotta slow down here because this law stuff is kind of complicated and it's kind of hard for people to understand, so I need y'all to pay attention. You have being like Demetrius Holloway, Big Meech, BMF, Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford, Harry O out in California, and Ricky Ross. All of these guys was classified as major narcotics distributors, and all of their crimes is related and interwoven with the industry of narcotics. And now we start getting into the what that got to do with anything part. That got to do with this. There's no way any one of the men that we just named, who we never left America, can get tons of cocaine. Not a couple of ounces. Not a couple of pounds. Not a couple of grams. Tons of cocaine in this country without assistance from the United States government. Now, the question becomes, is this a provable claim? Can this claim be proven that the government of the United States, the corporation known as the United States, operating out of Washington, D.C., being the chief perpetuators of the drug crime? Can we prove this? Yeah, we can prove it. And once you prove that the government is the #1 drug distributor in this country, at that point, you prove also, by proving that fact, you prove that everybody with a dope case are part of the government drug ring. In order to prove that, you have to do a couple of things. First, you have to show the government conspiracy. And now, conspiracy is a unique charge because some of the people in the conspiracy don't even need to know that they are in a conspiracy to be convicted of conspiracy. It's 5 elements to a conspiracy, which I'm not going to get into them now because I'm going to do a whole nother video on the law and political prisoners, where I'm going to go more in detail. But anyway, so the government got caught. Yep, they got caught. The government at its highest levels got caught in the 80s. The government of the United States, operating out of Washington, D.C., the president, the vice president, and one of the joint chiefs of staff, Iran-Contra, they got